Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of watercolouring with some Margello Mission Gold watercolours. I love these. These are a huge palette that you can just see a section of it on the left there, and they are pricey. They're not, they're not cheap paints, but they are beautiful paints. They are really fantastic. As a crafter, these are going to last me a lifetime, so I'm thinking I might actually make my mum some palettes of her own. You can buy like the empty ones from like Amazon and stuff, because when you buy this set of 36 like I did, it also comes with all the tubes, which is, so you essentially put them in the palette yourself. But again, they're going to last me forever. So I'm using the baubles from Joy to the Woods Lawn Fawn stamp set, and I've just stamped them out and onto some mixed media paper, and also cut them out with my Scan and Cut. And I'm just using a variety of what I would call like vintage colours. If you remember, I know these are baubles, but if you remember in the old days, you used to get those like Christmas tree lights that looked like, I think we call them fairy lights now, and they had like blues and oranges and red and green, and those were like the colours that you had on your Christmas tree, and there were those things that used to get tangled all the time and all that sort of fun stuff. So that's what I was thinking for these guys, and so I just went with it, although I know these are baubles and not the actual Christmas lights. And then I'm using some tumbled glass on a stitched rectangle die from Lawn Fawn, and I'm just going with my tumbled glass from the top towards the bottom and letting it sort of ombre fade out, if that makes sense. So it's slightly darker at the top and then it sort of fades out towards what will be the snow on the bottom. I just wanted this wintry kind of sky. And then this die, I thought this was clever on my part, I'm using this as my snow mounds, but this is actually the stitched garden border die that came out for Easter maybe a couple of years ago from Lawn Fawn, and it's actually meant for like as a mound of dirt, so that you can stick like carrots and radishes and things like that in it, and those dies come with it as well. But I thought it made good sense to use it as snow, like mounds of snow where you can stick things in. So that was clever on my part anyway. So I'm sure I'm not the first one to have thought of that, but I just hadn't seen it, so I thought that was quite cool. And then these are the birch tree dies from Lawn Fawn, and I'm using some pumice stone on them just to give them that sort of silvery look that I believe birch trees have. I'm not a tree expert, but I just thought they looked nice, and it's just a subtle tree background for a winter scene. So just get those all inked up, and I've got some vintage photo oxide now, and I'm using, these are the, I'll explain what I'm doing here in a second. These are the Ready Set Snow shaker add-on dies. So I use the solid piece for the back of the back piece. Then I used the section that will cut out where I've just used some vintage photo for the base of it. So this will actually be the front of my shaker. I cut that out twice, once for this piece, and two on some, put some double-sided sticky on some fun foam, and then ran it through my die cut machine, and it cuts out the foam to allow the space that I will need for the shaker element. And I also used the solid piece and cut out some acetate, which will create the window. So now I'm using the Ready Set Snow stamp set, and I know my lighting is really overexposed on these videos this week, I'm so sorry. And I'm just deciding there's like a snow mound drift thing stamp in there, and I'm just using the two snow people from this, and I'm just going to eyeball this. I didn't really think about it, probably should have masked them off, but they're so tiny, and this actually worked out really well. I'm using some archival ink in jet black, and I somehow, I don't know how, but I managed to eyeball it enough that they actually lined up right on that snowbank. that was just pure luck. So I'm also, there's a whole load of different images, like background images in the stamp set as well. And I'm just trying to decide what I want to put in the background. I felt like it needed just something. So in the end, I'm going to use some tumbled glass and one of the snowflakes. And I'm just going to stamp all over the background, sort of behind them. In theory, you would have snowflakes all over because it's snowing. So, but it's fine. It worked out really quite cute. So just so that there's something in the background. And then I'm using the edge, I haven't re-inked it, but the edge of my tumbled glass foam pad, just to try and get some color on that snowbank, so it just looks like it's not completely stark. And I'm also using one of the sentiments that also comes in that stamp set, that says Merry Christmas, and it's like, it creates like a little plaque thing on the front of the what's it called, snow globe. And then I dragged out my distress ink markers. I have a few colors here. Can't remember the name of the colors, but because this paper actually isn't watercolor paper, I realized quickly that actually I needed to dispense the ink onto like my media mat, and then I could actually pick it up with some water and a water brush thing and just add the color in quite lightly. You would have seen from the little their little carrot noses that didn't work so well doing it how I would have done it on like a watercolor paper or a mixed media paper, where you can just add the color and then drag the color from the markers out. It just wasn't working for this one because it's not actually the right paper for that. This was kind of like I was in the middle of it. I was going to do this. So as far as the markers go, I have the set from forever ago that was what they called the seasonal set. So it had all the seasonal colors. Obviously they're now part of the normal line, but they were part of the seasonal. So it's just some colors from there, but it's just a blue and a pinky red, and it's just colors that I felt would coordinate quite nicely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sticky off one side of this foam piece that I've created, and this is what will create the well that I can then put my shaker bits in. I'm then going to grab a anti-static powder tool. This is an EK Success one, and I've also got some Nouveau glitter in, I don't know what the color is, but it's just like a clear white kind of glitter. I thought it looked like snow, so if you've got anything that looks like that, use that. And then I've taken the second side of the sticky backing off, and trying not to make a complete mess, I then stick the solid piece of acetate over the top of that, and that creates the shaker element. I'm then going to stick some more double-sided tape onto the back of what will be the front of my shaker, and I'm just going to, I could have used wet adhesive, but that might ooze out the side. Ooze is a technical term, of course, but it might ooze out the side. So I actually had some very thin, strong double-sided adhesive, so that's what I decided to use for this. And then I'm just going to stick this straight on top. So all these pieces are within that shaker add-on die set from Lawn Fawn, and they all create this shaker. And look at it. Oh, maybe I don't show you. I thought I showed you. So what I'm going to do now is start putting all these pieces together so that I can create my little background scene, my little scenery, outdoor scene. And the birch trees actually have 3 different sized trees, so I cut each tree out twice so that I'd have a variety of different thicknesses of trees as well. Don't worry about the tops will get cut off in a bit. I'm just trying to line them up and put them where I think they would make sense. I also overlap them a little bit and sort of try and make them look like they're there naturally ish. But do whatever you want. Do you know what I mean? Like this is just where you have fun and you put the scene together once you've got all your pieces and you know, your elements and things. And then what I was also going to say is that this actually has a little story. In my head, I had the story, and it's quite a sad story really, that for some reason somebody decided that they'd had enough of the snow globe and the baubles, and they were just chucking them outside, and they just landed in the snow. So that's my story. So I think it's quite a sad story that someone would want to throw a lovely little snow bauble, snow shaker, what are they called? Snow globe. They would want to throw a snow globe away, but you know, that was where the idea came from. So the same with the baubles, they got thrown outside. So which is why I thought this die worked really well, because I could have the baubles stuck in the snow where someone had just chucked them out. Right, so the story's sad, but makes for a good card. So, and that's what I'm doing here, just putting some adhesive on the back, and then these little mounds actually die cut out, so you can actually stick things in there. And I'm just rearranging all these little baubles that I'd painted. I'm just sticking them in there basically. And then what I'm going to do is, because there's some height with the snow globe, I'm going to put some foam on the card, on the base of the card there. I'm actually going to, I did try it out first, but I am actually going to layer it up twice, because what I wanted to do is at least line up somewhat level. I don't want there to be any sort of wonky areas, which you may get if you don't add just an extra layer of foam. So that's what I decided to do. And then I feel like it just, everything's sitting in at the right angle, or the level on the card. So that's the card my camera cut out, sorry. So I stuck it to a base, just a white card base, and trimmed the trees at the top. So this is something else you could do, and actually I might go back and still do this. You could still put those extra baubles that I had left over, you could actually hang them in the trees as well if you wanted to. I decided to leave it like that, but now looking at it when I'm editing this, it looks a little bit more bare. So adding those ornaments could work quite nicely. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.